Welcome to the Bloomz on Tour, a unique and exciting art challenge between 7 talented artists from 4 countries over 7 months. The Bloomz Arthouse Collective is a group of brilliant artists from around the globe, united in their passion for creating stunning art, but divided by the fact that they each work in their own very different artistic medium. So, how would these artists cope if they had to break out of their comfort zones and create pieces of art using the media, processes and techniques of their fellow Bloomz artists? Well, you're going to find this out in these Bloomz on Tour episodes. Now, art is for everyone to try and to enjoy. So how about having a go at these challenges yourself at home? All the details of each task featured in the episodes can be found at thebloomz.co.uk after each episode has aired. You'll have great fun trying different forms of art, and the Bloomz artists will also happily give you encouragement as well as feedback and advice on your creations. In this first episode, we travel to Melbourne, Australia, where the challenge is set by the amazing animal artist Cindy Porter. Let's first hear from Cindy and then see how everyone survives the task that she has set.
Hi, my name is Cindy Porter and I'm an animal artist living in Melbourne, Australia. Some of my work you can see here behind me. I create my art to ignite a connection to our animal friends, who I believe can heal our souls. I also hope to draw attention to the plight that many of these animals face with the threats of extinction. By drawing attention, I hope to facilitate change in the future. My passion is big cats and even more specifically tigers. So my challenge set to the group was for them to paint a tiger head, concentrating on capturing the soul of that tiger in the eyes. This is what I try to do with my paintings. I try to capture that soul in the picture as I create it and pass it on. That's Henry butting in. So this is the task I've set for the group. I've chosen the medium of watercolour for them to work in. And I have also set them the little task of creating a shimmering watercolour for themselves, and I did provide them with some shimmering pigment for that specific purpose. So here's hoping they enjoy the challenge, and let's see what happens.
The first step in each challenge is for the artists to open the envelopes they received from their task-setting colleague. Exciting or terrifying? Let's find out.
Oh, yeah, beautiful envelope. Beautiful, beautiful. So we're ready to open, guys. Let's go, go, go. Woo.
Oh my goodness.
Presents.
What's this?
Is that some shimmery? Ooh.
We love a bit of shimmer.
Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, to paint a tiger. Yes! Of course it was!
Paint a tiger?
Yeah.
No.
Yes!
Cindy asked us to paint a tiger.
I love it. I'm going to love this. Yeah. And capture its spirit in your painting. Well, this one will be interesting to Sammy. It's Watercolours Scare Sammy.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Then one of the other ones, oh my God, you know, I wonder if Cindy's going to choose acrylics or watercolour, because she's like, watercolour scares me. And it's thinking, well, we all need to be taken out of our comfort zones. I'm out of my comfort zone for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys. You ready to do your envelope opening?
Absolutely.
Little one?
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't opened the big one yet.
Oh.
Always one. Always one.
No, I just didn't want. I wanted to make sure I didn't open too much too soon before the big one.
Amazing. Required supplies. Watercolours. Okay, so
Corn
watercolour
syrup.
paper, watercolour paints.
I've got everything apart from, I know what everything is apart from corn syrup.
Oh, what's
Yes.
corn
What is
syrup for?
corn syrup?
Oh,
and
you
how
don't know what corn syrup is?
No, we know what it is, but what's it for?
No.
It's Sammy's face.
I've got everything on here.
Well, I don't.
Oh no, I haven't got corn syrup.
Sammy, your face.
What corn syrup?
Okay.
And what do we do with it?
Yeah. So what do we-
You're using it with that powder.
oh,
Water, and you're going to make your own watercolor, your own shimmering watercolor with it.
Ooh.
That is pigment powder and mica powder and gum arabic all mixed together, which you are going to make into a shimmering watercolor.
So this is tiger paint.
Oh,
That will make one of these colors.
Oh.
Can't remember exactly which one I sent you. I think it might be that one.
Ah.
It doesn't. Yeah, don't expect it to stay that color that's in the bag.
No.
Okay.
So how do you actually do it then? How do you just add corn syrup to it?
Nope. Okay, so you take 1 teaspoon, that's all you need of corn syrup. So you only need a tiny little bit, 1 teaspoon.
Someone make notes for God's sake. Right. Okay.
On it. 1 teaspoon of corn syrup.
Lovely.
Okay, and you put that into 8 ounces of water. Mix that up. So
Lovely.
literally put that out onto, I like to use my glass mat, but some sort of hard surface like that, or a flat china plate or something like that. Okay, and slowly drip the water on just by a couple of drops at a time. At the start you can probably put half a dozen drops, maybe not too many, because the more you put, the longer it's going to take to set if you put too much.
Right.
So it's better to put the water slowly in, and then literally with your palette knives that you have for the owner's challenge, you can use one of those to mix it up until it becomes a paste, and then you just put it into any sort of little container. I just literally put it into my little water, they're just watercolor pans.
Yeah.
You can buy them at art stores.
Yeah.
Well, you can over here, and you can buy them individually at art stores. So if you wanted to,
Hobbycraft, they probably have them there. So yeah.
exactly,
Right.
and like they're dirt cheap. So yeah, then you can just literally scrape it off the plate and scrape it into the palette, and it will set hard. And so then it will come out like these, which are hard and solid. That when it comes time to paint, you literally just put the wet paintbrush on and start painting with it.
I love that.
It'll take a few days to set
Yeah.
originally, so you want to do that before you're going to start your painting.
Oh no.
Okay.
Love that.
It's I just figured it would be nice for you all to have a little bit of shimmer to put onto your painting. So
what
there's
do I use the basting brush for?
that is for making splats.
Ah.
Oh.
Put it down your watercolor and just get
Yeah.
it on here, and it flicks really well. So it's great for making.
Sammy's out of her comfort zone.
Do you know what? I've yet to find my comfort zone with any of these tasks.
That's a good point, Sammy. I'm with you there.
I'm very excited about doing a tiger, obviously, because I absolutely love tigers as well.
Exactly.
My problem is I can't bloody draw or paint, but that's a minor detail. I'm gonna love doing it, so don't care.
The most important part of the challenge is the capture the spirit part.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
That's the most important bit.
And we can interpret that in whatever way we wish, presumably.
Good.
I have a couple of questions on the making your own watercolour paint, which I love. I've never ever done that before, so I think that is.
Oh, it's super cool.
I've got 3 questions.
Ooh, yes.
Because
Okay.
my brain has already gone into. When you said it's 1 teaspoon of corn syrup and 8 ounces of water, that's quite a lot of water compared to, and then only a few drops. Do we just discard what's left?
Yeah.
Of the water mixture. So that's just the.
Or if you're making it all the time, you just keep it and keep using it.
And then you've got that.
Well, you can only keep it for a certain amount of time because with just the water and the corn syrup, over time it'll grow bacteria or moldy stuff or whatever.
So I've got loads of pigments, so I could make different colours.
But you need your gum arabic.
Which is my next question. What are the ratios of the gum arabic and the pigments that you've got in this little bag?
In that bag, it's about 1 to 1.
1 to 1.
1 to 1.
Well, you know where I am going next Thursday? I'm going to Whipsnade Zoo, taking the grandchildren there. And we've got the tigers, so I'll be able to photograph my own tigers.
Yay!
So I'll get to know a bit about the tiger. I'll be able to write a little bit of a background in my head. I won't physically write it because I know I'm not allowed. Because Cindy doesn't do that, do you? Do you write notes, Cindy?
No.
I'll write it all in my head then. Would possibly dictating it to my phone be acceptable? Because if it's in my head, there's just a possibility that it'll go out of my head quite quickly. Is that allowed? Because I don't want to be writing if I'm not allowed to write, but am I allowed to dictate?
I think you're supposed to be going with your intuition, because what she said to us was it's the spirit of the tiger, which is really
important. That I want you to capture. That has nothing to do with like writing anything down or doing some sort of essay or anything. It literally is letting it come through you and just doing it.
Okay. And what size are we looking at, Cindy?
Whatever size you want. It's watercolor, so just get yourself a decent piece of watercolor paper. The better the quality the watercolor paper, the easier it will be for you to achieve this, especially if you've never done watercolor before. Make sure that it's a cotton paper, not a cellulose-based paper, because it'll make your life so much easier. So I don't know what brands you get over there, but Arches is probably the best out there. I actually have a brand that I really love to use. It's a Stonehenge Legion, and I love it.
I'm not a watercolorist at all, but I do see when I go into the arts shops, hot press, cold press.
Yep, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The difference is hot pressed is super smooth, and I personally don't like it. To me, it feels more like a drawing paper than a watercolor paper, and cold press has a little bit of texture to it, which I find is really nice to use when you're working with watercolor. So that's just my preference, and I have extensively used both. I've given hot press a go over and over. Still don't like it.
Okay, and the weight of the paper?
300 pounds plus.
Okay.
Hot pressed, I think, is more difficult to use, isn't it, Cindy?
With watercolor, ideally you paint with the water, not with the paint. Depending on what you're doing, if you're blocking color in or something, you will wet the area that you want to block the color in. And on cold press, that's really easy. It stays and it holds the form quite well. On hot press, it can, because it's so smooth, if you put too much water, if you have a little bit too much water on your brush or put down too much, it's just going to keep spreading. It doesn't happen quite the same on cold press, I find. So cold press to me is more forgiving, especially for people starting out.
So Cindy, here are my art supplies. So I will just go and divide my white paper in squares to have a guide for sketching, and then I will show you my reference. This is my personal interpretation of the strength and the force of the tiger, a young lady hugging the tiger like in a symbiosis.
I'm working on Cindy's challenge to do a tiger, so I've got my reference here and I've just been starting to draw the tiger out. I don't normally do watercolour, but I've found all of my watercolour paints and brushes and everything, and a spray bottle if I want to keep the paint wet. So that's all ready to go. I've just got to get the drawing done first.
Hi, it's Judy Ruffle here. So I'm about to have my first ever go at making watercolour paints. I'm so excited. I've never made my own paint before. This is going to be amazing. Apparently it takes a couple of days to dry, so I will put that to one side now, then have a clean up. You see that colour? That's good. I'm looking forward to painting with that. Okay, I'm going to make a few more.
Hello, I'm going to be starting Cindy's task to paint a tiger. Surprise, surprise. But to capture its spirit in our paintings. I've looked through a number of photos that other people have taken of tigers. This one, he's lying there, but he's got his eye open, but it's just the size of his paw. And so I thought I might do something with that. And also part of my plan is I'm not using tiger colours. I'm taking a leaf out of Cindy's book. So it's not going to be an orange stripy tiger. It's going to be shades of pink and violet.
Drawing, painting, not really my forte. I'm 3D sculpture, so it doesn't matter whether I'm good at it or not. I'm just going to go for it because the subject, tigers, I absolutely adore tigers. So I was kind of looking at a tiger who appears to be doing something and then is looking up and checking you out basically. So I've kind of taken that part of my main focus in my sketch. This is my sketch that I've got to. Well, I say I've got to, I don't think I'm going to add any more to it from the point of view of the sketch.
And so now I'm ready to start painting. I'm going to mix some paint. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's see if the Indian ink flows. So we are finally ready to add some black Indian ink. We are going to work a little bit of wet on wet. You see I've added some black ink under the neck of the girl. And now I'm going to wait for it to dry. And that's it.
That's my pencil drawing ready to start with the watercolour, the really scary bit. I think the next thing is to make up the special watercolour paint. I've got a little empty watercolour pan here from this amazing mica pigment that Cindy has provided for us, so can't wait to see that made up into a paint. Well, I've just made up the paint, and this is the amazing colour. What gorgeous colour is that? Tiger colour, yay! I'm just going to do a little bit of fine liner drawing with a permanent marker here, just to outline some of the areas that are going to be black. And now I've got to go in with some colour. So I've started putting the colour on, which is quite a nerve-wracking business, I think, when you're not used to using watercolour. I'm very pleased to say I have now actually finished Cindy's challenge, and here is Tony the Tiger.
Okay, so watercolour painting is an interesting exercise. I'm enjoying it. Complete mess, probably breaking every rule in the book when it comes to watercolour painting. In fact, I know I am, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And we'll see if I can pull it back around. All right, it's quite challenging actually, completely different to painting with wax. Show you how some of those shimmer paints came out in the end. So there were two colours that worked really well. There was a copper and an orange. A little bit of a close-up so you can see some of the shimmer that is on there. Thanks, Cindy. I've enjoyed this exercise. It's been good fun.
As you can see, I've done like a two-tone wash background. As you can see, my tiger is going to be this beautiful violet colour because Cindy asked us to get the spirit of the animal, and when I saw this photograph, these were the colours that came through to me, these beautiful violets and pinks. Okay, so this is my tiger finished. I don't think that's too bad.
I have seen, I've watched some watercolour instructions, and I quite like the ones which are less washy and more within a line. And then I'm kind of hoping I might go a bit washy with the colour afterwards. I say hoping because I have absolutely no idea what will happen when I actually get to that point. But anyway, that's the plan. Cindy has sent us, it's pigment and Arabic gum, correct? And we're going to add some corn syrup and water to it and basically make our own watercolour paints. And this is quite shimmery. I love a bit of shimmer, so very happy to do this. That looks nice. Apparently it might change colour. There you go. That is a fabulous colour. I'm loving that. Can't wait to use it. Okay, so I've now coloured it in. So I have used this fabulous pot of, well, it really is gold because it's red under the gold, isn't it? I have used this special little pot in the rim of the eyes there. So I am presenting to you my tiger. To me, the soulful essence of any animal you see through their eyes.
So Cindy, you've now had all the submissions from your fellow Bloomz artists. What a task it was. Some of them found it a little bit easier than others. What did you think of the final submissions?
I was blown away by all of them. All very different, all very unique. I think some actually stuck to the brief of the task better than others, but that's understandable being how different we all are as artists and our mediums and everything that we're used to. But I was just, they made me happy, all of them. They were fabulous. They did great jobs.
And that's what art should do, even to the artists themselves, and make you happy. Your brief was to capture the essence of a tiger, using more of the intuition. So do you think they all did that in their own way?
I think they all probably did a bit in their own way. I think some did it better than others, but that is to be expected because we're all very different and not necessarily used to the medium that I assigned them. So some captured the essence very similar to the way that I do when I try to paint, which I thought was amazing.
And of course, the whole idea of this Bloomz on Tour is for artists that aren't used to doing that particular medium to have a go at it. So it doesn't always mean that if you're an artist, you can do everything.
Nope.
You usually have one particular chosen medium. But it's been great fun. I know all of your fellow artists really enjoyed the task. We're going to start off with Elisa Colangeli. Now, Elisa is a figurative artist. She doesn't do animals. She doesn't do watercolors particularly. And this is how she decided to approach the task.
Which is in her style, right?
Yes, it is.
Completely in her style by putting the figurative aspect of her artwork in there as well. I was like, wow, when I saw it. I would really have loved her to concentrate more on the tiger and less on the figure, but she did a great job with the watercolor. I don't know how much work she's done with watercolor before, but she did seem to control it really well and make a fabulous painting. You can see that she's not used to doing watercolor as much because of the coloring of the eye of the tiger. She has not managed to capture normal animal highlights in the eye that I would always try to make sure get put in. Just little tiny bits like that as a slightest ever criticism, but it's a beautiful painting and she did a fabulous job.
Okay, let's go on to our next artist, which is Fiona Hooper's A Go at Your Task. Fiona is a landscape oil artist because she has painted animals in the past.
She does a lot of pet portraiture, that sort of thing. So she's painted a lot of dogs and things like that, which I think is very evident in the way she's presented the tiger, which is beautiful. And you'll see that what I was mentioning with Lisa's eyes, Fiona has captured that in the watercolor. But you'll also notice with her watercolor, it's quite tight looking everywhere, which is what I would expect from an oil painter using watercolor, right? Because it's a completely different medium for her. So, but I also let the water flow to let the colors blend that bit more. Whereas this to me looks like she hasn't let the paint do its thing as much. She's kept it very tight. It's a gorgeous painting. She did a fabulous job. And I do believe she definitely captured that spirit in there.
Wonderful. Okay, let's go on to our next artist. Now, this is the work created by Julie Rothel. Now, this was really outside of her comfort zones. Julie is an encaustic wax artist. She normally paints with melted beeswax. So a great deviation from her norm, as it were.
I think she did a fantastic job. I will comment that I think she managed to capture the essence more of a kitty cat than a tiger. If you look closely at it, to me, that's the impression I got, but it's beautiful. Do you know what struck me most about looking at everybody's work for this? The work resembles the work they do in their own medium, even though it's done with watercolor, right? This looks a lot like what a lot of Julie's encaustic work looks like when she lays the layers down. And that's what struck me the most about Julie's, which I thought was amazing, that she was able to capture that and achieve that in watercolor.
I think, as you said with Elisa's, it's an instinct to paint how they would normally paint.
I think it's amazing. Like, you know, we've been given completely different things to work with, and yet they still bring through their own art right into that. It's fabulous.
And all of the artists, you gave the pigment, the mica powder pigment, in order to make their own. And I know they all love that idea to make their own watercolor paint. And Julie has used it to a great degree there. She even went and mixed some of her own. Right, let's move on now to our next submission. So this is Max. Now, Mac McGregor is a visual artist. She does all sorts of different art involving normally chewed gum. I think this was really different for her. Yeah. She admits that she didn't get the piece finished, but in Mac's world, art is never finished. It's always ongoing, developing. So I think that comes out in this, but she took the grid way of doing it, the grid approach.
So she's definitely gridded up her paper to get her sketch down, which is evident in the partially finished piece. But it does look like she was making a good effort at capturing the spirit of the animal in that piece. So I think she was well on her way, and I'm sure this will sit around for quite a while, knowing Mac, and she'll come back to it at some stage and do a bit more and eventually get herself a lovely finished piece, I think, eventually. The eyes are very fierce.
I think Mac leaves us wanting more. Okay, so we've just got two more to go. They're all very different, aren't they?
They are amazing pieces of work. That's what I was blown away with the most was, how well everybody did.
So this is a very different approach. This is Sammy Hexter Andrews. Now, Sammy, I know from the start, was dreading watercolours. She is not a watercolour artist, and she's an abstract artist. She does mixed media and acrylics mainly, but certainly not watercolours. And yet, look what she produces.
Exactly right. She did a fabulous job. I would have loved to have been able to see the face a little more in this piece, but it is a gorgeous piece and it suits Sammy down to the ground, right? You can see it's a tiger, but it's a bit abstract-y in its presentation with the way she's captured it. And yeah, I think she did a fabulous job, and she should not be scared of watercolours.
I saw this and I thought, that's Sammy hiding behind her paw, not wanting to come out.
That's exactly right. That's what it is. Like, she's portrayed that like,
Yeah. So our last one here is by Stephanie Lester. Now, Steph is a fibre sculptor. She is not a painter. She was dreading this because she said, I cannot paint, I cannot draw. And this is just amazing, isn't it?
She needs to stop saying that, doesn't she?
I think she does.
Because she can both paint and draw from the look of this. She did a fabulous job, like just amazing. I was blown away with what she achieved, just stunning. It has the ferocity of a tiger in the face. You can see it, the soul is right there. She did an awesome job.
Steph's work involves making animals out of fibre, wool and other fibres. And she always concentrates on the eyes. I think the starting point here was the eyes.
Yes, and that is the way to do it. Definitely the way to go about it. Especially in watercolour, you concentrate on those main facial features first, and then you just let the rest drift away to some degree. And that's how I always manage to capture when I'm working in watercolour, my animals as well. And yeah, it's very evident that she approached it in this manner also. And she did an awesome job.
So there we are. That's the 6 wonderful images there. So what's your overall thoughts now we've gone through them all?
I loved them all. Like, I absolutely loved them all. I was blown away by what everybody managed to produce. It was really exciting to see how everybody handled the medium. I love the fact that even if I hadn't have known who did what, I could have probably managed to pick out pretty much everybody's. Maybe not Steph's, but Steph's I would have found by default, as in the last one that didn't belong to somebody. Just from the way they were painted and presented, they had the hints of each of the artists in them, in the styles, which I thought was amazing and fabulous. I just thought they did, a fantastic job.
I know that each of the artists were, in their own way, worrying about doing watercolours because it is a very specific medium that some people struggle with, but I think they all enjoyed the task completely, and I know 1 or 2 of them will probably be using watercolours more in the future, thanks to you.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Oh wow! Look at wow! They're so different, aren't they? Wow! So different.
They are all amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Brilliant. Wow.
Amazing.
Right. So we'll
I've
go.
got my glasses on.
Yeah.
I get the ring. I've got the ring light on it going back.
So we'll bring them up one by one so you can have a better look. But that was amazing to see them all together like that, though. That was incredible. So on my screen, my top left is you, Fiona. So you're up first.
My curly Tony the Tiger.
Oh, Tony the Tiger, yes. Oh, wow.
Amazing.
So I was trying
Fabulous.
to work in Cindy's sort of style with fairly sort of defined, but it was fun.
Wow. Yes.
I loved it.
Love it.
And I loved using that paint. It was brilliant. Yeah. That you sent us, Cindy.
Oh yeah, that paint was
Fantastic.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool, eh?
So that's Tony.
Gorgeous.
The tiger. Yeah, amazing.
Love it. And did you enjoy doing it?
I did, yeah, it was
Yeah.
good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the drawing out, I'm thinking, I haven't drawn a tiger for years and years, you know, he's going to look like he's got, you know, ears the size of an elephant or something. But I don't know, it just seemed to, I think because I just thought, well, just give it a go. And so it worked out okay, you know. So, yeah, it was good fun. And so there he is.
Brilliant.
Yes, it is awesome.
Okay, right, let me get back here. So, well, on my screen, I'm next, so I'm going to put my guy up.
Stunning, absolutely stunning. That's amazing.
Beautiful.
She
Yeah,
who
it's all
cannot
about the
draw.
All about the eyes, really.
That is amazing.
Absolutely, and you did it perfectly.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. No, I love tigers, as you know, so I absolutely love the task. And it's all about the eyes in my pieces, so that's what I focused on. And once I got going, I'd sort of, like you say, the theory, Fiona. I had a go at the theory, then I just thought, oh, sod this, I'm just going to go with it. Intuition, you know. And loved it, absolutely loved using the watercolours and the colours, and loved your paint, Cindy, that you got. That's the whiskers and that I did in that sort of iridescent paint and everything. But yeah, as we said at the start of this, I kept telling everybody I can't draw and I can't paint, and I'm stopping saying that now because I love this. And
It's beautiful.
I'm going to turn this into a print and turn it into a thank you card that I send out to people when I send my piece.
Oh wow!
Awesome! Yeah,
That's beautiful.
That's fabulous.
Pleased with it.
I hope you're going to get that framed as well.
Yeah.
I will do, yeah,
That is
absolutely. But just, you know, it was just for the first task. It was the best thing for me to do for the first task because it just gave me such a yes, back on. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there you go. Brilliant. Okay. So, next, Mac, you're next.
Oh God. Okay.
No, Sophia.
Well, I didn't complete mine, but
Okay.
it's so
Very
fun.
regal.
Yeah.
I love this podcast.
Yeah.
Power to him.
Did get those eyes in though, didn't you?
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
eyes,
It
isn't
was nice. They're not quite right.
Well,
He's very much don't you mess with me, isn't
Yeah.
yes, yes.
he? Me.
He's got attitude.
I love the fact that you've written top, like we wouldn't know which way up it was.
I would say it was for me. It was for me.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. No,
smashing.
beautiful. Yeah, very regal. Yeah. Stunning.
Really powerful images, aren't they? All of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. So, Julie, you're next.
What am I next?
Oh.
So I got completely carried away making my own paints. I don't know if you can see because I've got loads of pigments.
Yes.
So
I think it's awesome.
Wonderful.
I
Wow.
really enjoyed that. And then I think Cindy, you'd mentioned something about adding a bit of intuition or spirit animal. So then I kind of got the splashes. That's right. We had
Splashes,
splash,
yeah.
didn't we? So I
Yeah.
got quite into that, and then thought, right, I'm going to stop before I completely cover the thing. I don't know if you can see it very well there, but yeah. And the iridescent paint is just, I mean, your ones, and I had some other
Yes.
shimmer
it's
paints as well. But when you catch it in the right light, I just love how that
They
shimmers.
just light up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's difficult to see on camera, but yeah, and I really enjoyed the task. It was just something completely different. I mean, I have painted in watercolor before, but not for years, and it was just nice because it just gave me a complete break, and then I kind of felt like I came back fresh again, and I got really enthused and inspired, and yeah, it was lovely. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's good.
Fabulous. Okay, we've got Sammy.
That is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
the colours.
Yeah.
Quite
yeah.
the
Is that inspired by Cindy's colours in terms of how she does colours of hers?
So when Cindy said about try and get the essence and the spirit of the animal, I was looking, I had two photographs that I was working from, and one was just his eyes, and the other one was him. He'd like just had enough and was collapsed down, but he was still keeping his eye on you, sort of thing. And it was just the size of the paw and the strength of him, the power in that paw. And so I went with a bit of an abstract background, but that was sort of like the. Have you seen Brother Bear when the spirit whirls around the animal? There's so that was his spirits whirling around him, and then I've got the iridescent paint in his fur around his
Let me
mouth.
just hold it back a little bit so I can see the whole. That's it. Oh, I love it. I love that negative space in behind as well. That's,
Beautiful.
I thought it balanced it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love it.
Yeah. Again, really powerful.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, that's good. And Elisa.
Here I am.
Oh, beautiful. Oh.
So I went my way.
Oh.
And there is some line work with archival ink in the black stripes of the tiger and almost everywhere in the hair of the girl. And yes.
That's what I wanted to do with my tiger, cuddle him.
They're just all so powerful in their own different ways, aren't they?
I will say that it was really quite amazing because I think even without being told whose was whose, just by looking at them, you all gave hints of whose belonged to who.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would have been able to pick it out, right?
Yeah.
Came in with a more abstract view, like the abstract background and the more abstract view of the tiger. Julie's, yours reminded me of the way you work with your wax. Like when I looked at it, that's the impression I got from it straight away. Of course, Elisa's with the figure, you know, with female form, straight away gave it away. Fiona, yours reminded me of the way I've seen you previously do your animal portraits. Like it had that look to it, and like I thought it was probably yours before I even knew it was yours. So I was really surprised. Mac's hint was the unfinished version. But even though like your health tends to stop you sometimes finishing things, you tend to look at art a lot that way anyway, like things are always ongoing, like they're never quite finished anyway. So it sort of had that feel to it anyway, Mac. So Steph, I had no idea what to expect from yours, being that you work in 3D and not 2D, but it was a process of elimination. Like it had to be that one because or was the other ones, right? So I was really actually quite surprised that even though, you know, this was a completely different task for you all, there was all hints of your own style of art in it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was one thing that blew me away. So, yeah.
Coming up next time on the Bloomz on Tour.
Okay, so in my challenge, I'm going to get the girls firing up the heat. We are going to be taking heat gun, our encaustic medium or beeswax,